It's Triple Crown here, Saturday, November 16th, 2024. Split between two major cities in Ohio, Columbus and Cincinnati. At the midway point is Jeffersonville, Ohio, and that is the location of today's show. This is at the Destination Outlet Mall, not too far off of I-71. This one should be a good one. First time this one has ever happened. It's being put on by Shannon Sports, a good friend of mine. Also a content creator here on YouTube. His channel will be linked down below. But I know he put a lot of time and effort into making this show a good one. And oh boy, it was a good one. You'll probably see some familiar faces already as I pan around the room here. There were an all-star cast of dealers here. Lots to get into. Let's go ahead and jump into the action.
Do you have any room on it?
Yeah, listen to an offer.
Open offers?
Yeah.
I'll send my vintage guy over.
I gotcha. Yeah. How's it going?
Remember me from Z?
I do.
JT, right?
Yeah. It's a good example. Oh, I'm open to an offer if you got a number in mind.
Tell me.
I mean, I'd like to be at 25, so.
Too low? Too cash?
A little too low. I could do like 22. All right, the card we're looking at here is a 1956 Topps Mickey Mantle. Nice example of it, just a little bit off-center, but overall presents itself very well. The eye appeal is there. I feel I have it priced reasonably. Is it at the highest sale in recent times for the assigned grade? No. But it's also not the lowest. It tends to kind of tip towards the former rather than the latter when I'm pricing cards like this. Regardless of how I have it priced, though, the one thing I'm never going to do is negotiate against myself. I say it time and time again on these videos. I have all of my cards very clearly priced. I'm always willing to listen to an offer, and if I'm not, but for some reason, then I will go ahead and say that. But on cards where the number is this high, I'm usually not going to give a best price. I'm not going to tell you what my lowest is because I don't always know that. And again, if this is similar to the deal that I did in the last video with the Jared Goff RPA, that lowest price could change if he were to pick something else out here, just depending on what else he may pick out. That's why I won't negotiate against myself here. He makes a move though, comes in at 2K, can't quite be there. It's going to have to be 22, and I'm pretty firm at that price. For baseball, yeah. I have one non-sport vintage, but that's it.
Just don't know.
Can you pull that?
Yeah.
The Holmes.
None of these $8.
I do not.
What Laporta?
No Laporta. Lions fan.
You 22 compared?
I wouldn't do that. I was at 22 by this one by itself. Yeah. I'd be at 26 on the pair. Or excuse me, 25 on the pair.
21 and 3, so 24.
I'll be firm at 25.
25?
Yeah.
What about just on this?
22 is going to be the best.
That's your best?
Yeah.
I'm at 21 there.
Let me take a look at it real quick.
Sure.
I can't come down much more on this deal. Like I said, if I was adding in something that maybe I had been stuck on for a while, I might move a little bit more. I look up the mantle here just to see if there's something that I'm missing. Maybe there's some sales since I last priced it that would indicate that a card might be worth a little bit less, but no, it's right around the same point as it was. My price sticker is really on point with, maybe the high end of average sales on it. I can't really move much more off of it. It's rare that you find Mantle and even Mahomes cards, who's the other one involved in this deal, priced pretty much at eBay prices at a lot of card shows. At least in my experience, most of them are over what they go for. I'm already being really fair on this. Again, if he was taking something that I was a little more stuck on, I definitely would be open to moving more, but in this case, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'd be from a 22.
25 here. Can you throw in these two burrows, cheaper ones?
That deal doesn't really benefit me at all. It is something that I have definitely grown in, because in the past I would have just shaken hands, because why not? I'll throw in this $25 burrow and this $15 burrow as kind of a little bonus for getting my number on those two cards. But I'm pretty steadfast at staying at $2,500 for the pair. I didn't buy those two Joe Burrow cards to just have as a throw-in for a deal. I bought them to sell them. And while it may only seem like it's $40 here, if I continue to do deals like this, those types of cards add up over time, and that's quite a bit that I'm leaving on the table. Now, I did have someone in my last video ask why I wouldn't just split the difference on the golf at $24.50 when we were stuck between 24 and 25, and that's because I already came down quite a bit off my sticker, and that's the case here too. I've already given out my discount on this card. I've given my rock bottom. I've been asked what my best price is, and I've established what my best price is. And when I say what my best price is, that's the truth. That is the lowest that I will accept. And there's no more movement after that. That's it. There's no secret price. There's no secret passcode you can say to get an additional 10% off. It's truly the bottom price. It's truly the best it's going to be. And I don't really owe it to anyone to come down anymore, especially when I've come down already. So I'm holding my ground here. I know that the cards are already really fairly priced. I know that I'm already giving a very fair price to the buyer here. I have to hold firm. As much as it might seem like I'm penny pinching here, again, I've already given out the discount. I can't go any lower.
I wouldn't. I feel like this is already a really good price at 22, so I couldn't move anymore.
We're close. We're super close. We're on the Devontae Adams, 2,500.
Staying firm at 25.
Man.
Yeah.
Man.
I think it's a really fair price already.
Yeah, this is what paying like full comps on that.
I mean, absolutely no disrespect to this gentleman or anyone else who I've done business with before, but the only time I'm really concerned with leaving room or the potential customer paying full comps on something is if I am selling to a shop or I am the one going around a show trying to sell to dealers. That is the only time that I'm going to concern myself with that. When someone's approaching me at my table trying to make sure that they have enough room, I really don't make that a priority for me. Now, I know that there are people who are regular customers of mine who come up, and I know that their intention is to resell, and I'll try to work with them, but it is not going to be at the cost of my own best interest, especially on cards like that Mahomes, where they're good cards and there's really no need for me to compromise any more than I already have.
Yeah, I'll just do 22 here.
All right, fine. Morning, how are you, sir?
How's it going?
Good, well, thanks.
Sorry, I just stared at your shit and even introduced myself. I'm sorry. Well, the price, can I look at it?
You want to look at the price, Young?
Yeah, please. Thank you very much. Oh, it's tops. I was like,
Yeah. I will.
please never be my quarterback.
You might not have a choice.
No. That last one. I think of that the Golden Schmidt in there too.
Yeah, which one?
The $30 one. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
While this gentleman ended up paying full sticker for these two cards, I want to talk a little bit more about the Bryce Young, because if he had made me an offer on them, I would have taken it if it was close, especially on that Bryce Young. Is it anywhere near what I paid for it? No, I had it stickered at $50 to tell you how much it has fallen since I showed it in one of my previous vlogs. But that comes with a decision for me. Am I going to move it now or hope that it goes back up? This is the first show that I have had it out at in probably a month to a month and a half, just because it had gone so low that I didn't see a point in it. I thought that maybe it would recover a little bit if he got back into the starting lineup and started playing better, which he has due to injury to Andy Dalton. He's been playing definitely better than he was before he got benched, but it is going to take a lot for Bryce Young to kind of undo the damage that has been done to his market. The odds are certainly more in line of the card continuing to decrease in value than it would be to get anywhere near the price that I once paid for it. So what do? Do I just hold it? Do I keep it in my collection as a lesson learned? Or do I move on from it, improve my cash flow, and go and put it into something else? I'm going to choose the lattermost option, which is something that I want to talk about because there are often times that I see people hold on to cards, holding out hope that something might turn things around. I saw it happen a lot last year with Zach Wilson, where people started to get a little greedy when he was asked to come in for the Jets due to the injury to Aaron Rodgers, particularly in that Sunday night game where they played the Chiefs and almost beat the Chiefs in that game. I saw a lot of Zach Wilson cards posted on social media that night, with people jacking up the prices, hoping to recoup as much of their losses as possible instead of just taking what they could get for the cards at the time, because 2 weeks earlier that card really wouldn't have gotten any attention on the secondary market. It just goes to show that sometimes you have to know when to wave the white flag, and as much as it might hurt your pride, it is better in the long run to wave the white flag and move on.
Bryce. I don't know why I'm at Bryce Young. Let's see what happens.
Well, at these prices,
Those gotta be in there for a while.
finally brought him back out because
At least it started with Devontae. JJ. Looking for the cheap stuff today.
What's that?
I said I'm looking for the cheap stuff today.
Most people are. That's why I have mostly the cheap stuff these days.
I have had this conversation with several other dealers, and the sentiment seems to be generally the same with a lot of them, is that the higher end cards are not really moving. And my definition, I guess, of higher end would be things that are above $500 that are in the showcases. This is something that I have definitely fallen into a trap of, is kind of looking around at some of the most impressive showcases in the room and kind of thinking, wow, it'd be nice to have all those cards. But one thing to keep in mind when you're looking at these showcases is that you don't always know the full story. These people could be into these cards for astronomically high prices compared to what the market is for them now, or even what they have them stickered at now. They could be sitting on a lot of cards that they're just unable to move. And if it's for their collection, then there's really no problem with that. But generally speaking, if they're in the showcase, they're in there for a reason. It's because, well, they're trying to sell them. Now, looking at my showcases, there's a lot of times where I will pull things out of boxes that people may have at a show. I'll put it in my showcase and it sells instantly, because a big part of my philosophy is presentation. Presenting things in different ways can drastically alter a card's ability to potentially sell at a show. If you're able to put something in front of someone's eyes, it is definitely more likely for them to sell than, say, put it in a box. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't have value boxes or slab boxes on your table. If you're setting up at a show, you only have so much space, right? And you don't want to lay all of your cards out in showcases. At a certain point, you kind of have to decide what your cutoff will be. But you would be surprised how many cards that I sell at $5, $10, $15 a piece that I have in my showcases, just by putting them in my showcases, that I don't necessarily think would have sold if they weren't laid out in the open for people to take a look at. That's just something that I have found helpful. I don't know if others can relate to that, but it is something that I have definitely learned and tried to enhance my showcases and make those kind of sales a little bit easier for myself here in 2024.
I remember a year ago, this would be like $10.
Yeah.
Same thing with like Brady and Pat and Patty, like that type of stuff was $25 flat across. This is rookie?
Yeah.
2-0 down. Yes, Antoine. It's just white white sparkle?
Yep.
Okay. Guess we'll grab these. To the next one. I know he came back. Is he playing?
Two things that I'll make note of here. Number one, I can usually tell when someone is looking for resale purposes when they're coming up to my table, and I've kind of gotten to the point now where I can kind of get a feel for what platform they sell on or how they choose to sell their cards. To me, I've done a couple of deals with this gentleman. I've never asked him what exactly he does. It's not really any of my business. Sometimes I like to know because if these are going to be repeat customers, I like to have things that they are going to want to buy. But my general impression here is that he wants to move things on Whatnot. Cheaper cards that you can kind of run at auction where you might get above eBay value and sometimes you get double, triple eBay value. Trust me, I've been in some of those Whatnot rooms back in the day where I'd see that happen on singles and I'd kind of be like, what the heck is going on here? And then there's other times where sometimes you get crushed on them. It all kind of balances out. But they must be successful enough doing it where it is a net positive for them doing it. And again, this is just my own assumption, but I like to kind of know why my buyers are buying particular cards because I want to be able to provide them similar cards when I go to restock my showcases. The second part of this, you can hear him say here that he doesn't know much about baseball. I have found this becoming more and more common where a lot of repackers who don't really follow baseball all that much, it also kind of goes for Whatnot sellers as well, I guess, are getting more and more into it. They usually know the big names, but they don't necessarily know how some of the low to mid-tier guys are doing and how their hobby is impacted by that. I'm kind of the same way with basketball. Do I know the names? Of course, yes. Do I know who is playing well, generally speaking? Yes, I know that as well. But could I pick out the blue chip prospect or the big breakout candidate coming out? Could I really do some scouting and speculation on basketball players? No, I'm just not familiar enough with the game and how the game works to be able to judge talent like I would be able to for, say, baseball or football. Those are really my core sports, and it goes to show that you don't have to know everything on every single sport, on every single player. In fact, it's impossible to know everything, but as long as you're willing to learn, you can kind of listen to what other people tell you, and it will help you out. I mean, there's times where I'll have questions about basketball players where I will ask my friends where I trust their opinions to tell me what they think about certain guys, and likewise, I'll tell them what I think about baseball because I think that I might be able to give them some information that they might not be able to deduce simply by scanning a card on Alt or going on Card Ladder, looking it up, and seeing what they're going for. There's more to it, and that kind of extra information is what I'm looking for on that. So, you know, you can always rely on other people as well to give you some information. Just be careful who you rely on sometimes.
Yeah, okay.
Just let me know what your sticker adds up to. You don't mind.
Alright.
Majority.
I was calculating it based on what I could do on each one. Yeah, no worries. I'd be at 500 even for all of them. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize it was a 7. I can't buy 7. I did not even see that. I am so sorry.
No worries at all.
I'm so sorry. I probably looked at it.
It would be 450 without this one.
can I throw you a counter offer at 420? Like the small stuff, I just put as it is. Same thing on that.
That's fine.
I checked my sheet really quick to make sure that on the larger cards I can come down to the number that he wants, shake his hand, and we are good to go. The things that he picked out there, things that I'm not really into too rich. I have a little bit more wiggle room on them. He also didn't pick out the things that I thought would be super popular, which does make me a little bit more inclined to move on them. That's why I was able to come down the extra $30 on that deal. Again, my strategy is very fluid. I don't say, this is how I'm going to handle every single transaction. It is definitely a case-by-case basis. But being flexible, knowing when to be firm, and knowing when to give a little bit more is something that I have found to be a very useful skill in 5+ years of selling cards full-time. Plenty more to come from this show, but since we're already over 20 minutes, I figure I'd go ahead and split the part here. See you in part 2 of the Jefferson Show. Until then, take care, stay safe, and be kind.